brand new Hoka Cielo X1. First impressions, 1 mile time trial. A few bits of information about the shoe. It's got a stack height at the rear of 39mm, 32mm at the front, making a 7mm heel to toe drop. But coming in at just over 264 grams in my UK size 10, is it too heavy for a race shoe? When many of Hoka's competitors' race day shoes are closer to 200 grams rather than 250. The idea to do a 1 mile time trial came yesterday when I went to do my first break-in run of this Cielo X1s. You can sort of see how crazy the rocker is from this photo, with the rear of the shoe being tipped completely off the floor. The stack height actually a little bit further forward in the rear is actually about 50mm as measured by Ed Budd. And this is actually a really strange feeling that I've never actually experienced in a shoe before. And to be honest, it felt really quite bizarre while I was walking in them, a little bit awkward when I was jogging, but when I picked up the pace to do some strides, it felt majestic. From the reviews that I had read, I was expecting quite a soft and plush ride, but it wasn't quite that. To me, I would put the softness somewhere between a Vaporfly 2, which I find quite stiff, and a Vaporfly 3 that's a little bit softer. So by no means it's a hard, tough shoe, but it's just a little bit firmer than I was expecting. It's obviously very early days, I'd only done one run, but it was sort of the opposite to what I was buying the shoe for. I was thinking marathon trainer, where it was just making me really want to pick the speed up and send it. As once I had picked the speed up, I couldn't feel the awkward rocker anymore in the middle of my foot. It was just pinging off nicely. It was like an extension of my foot doing exactly what I wanted it to do, the quicker and quicker I went. So it was time for a 1 mile time trial to see just how quickly I could go. So here I am at my local park getting ready to send it. It's going to be 1 3/4 times around this 900-meter park loop that you can see at the bottom right. Here's a couple of PBs for context. So my 5k PB that I did a few weeks ago is a 17 minutes 36, and my 1 mile PB is a 4 minutes 56, but with a heavy caveat. It was done during gales blowing me along, a pretty much direct tailwind of 40 to 50 miles an hour. So it must have helped my speed, I would imagine, by a minimum 10 seconds, maybe up to 20. You can watch that video up on the top right that I did last year. It's one of my early videos. It's a cracking watch. You can see so much of what's going on. My actual legitimate 1 mile PB is a 5 minute 16 that I did in a 3k time trial. So I'm 100% going to be aiming to better that, but I'm still going to have a crack at getting as close as I can to that 4 minute 56, although that's going to be incredibly hard. I'm going to set out trying to aim for a 3 minute flat kilometre, which would bring me in at a 4 minute 50 mile, which is very ambitious, but we like to aim high on Crown My Run. So let's get into it. Can the Hoka Cielo X1s produce the goods? You can hear that chime of the Garmin and we're up and away. You can keep an eye out on the pace in the top left, heart rate just below, and we set off at about 3.84 kilometres, so we'll be finishing at about 4.45 kilometres. Getting up to speed in this opening couple of 100 metres, and my eyes are fixed upon the park walker just ahead. Do I go left? Do I go right? I shoot for right, it's the narrower line. I'm worried he's going to turn on me. Oh, we are just about through. Okay, here we go. We are down at 3 minutes 02 per kilometre. Honing in on that 3 minute flat pace. We're there now. We want to stay here. Feeling very, very good at the moment. We are free and away from park users currently. All we have to worry about is our leg turnover, engaging those glutes, and just driving ourselves forward. And we're being aided currently by the Hoka Cielo X1 fantastically. Having a little look at the watch, I'm seeing that 3 flat thinking, that doesn't feel too bad. This won't be so hard for another kilometre or so, will it? We shall have to see, but so far so good. I'm certainly feeling a million times better than when I tried to run at 2 minute 50 per kilometre for a 1k a month or so ago. Heart rate climbing quickly though, into the mid 170s around my threshold. The lactate is going to start building up quicker than I can get rid of it now, and the pain will be here very shortly. 500 metres in, ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute 29, that's 2 minutes 58 per kilometre, or 4 minutes 46 per mile. If I manage to do this mile in 4 minutes 46, everyone should be buying this shoe. But as you can hear, the breathing's getting laboured. There's still over a kilometre to go, and that's a long way at this speed. As the lactate begins to infest my body, we've now creeped down to the 3 minute 05s per kilometre. That's still around a 5 minute flat mile, which I'd be pretty happy with. But we'll see if these Hoka Cielo X1s can really put the work in and keep me at this speed, despite the effort starting to increase more and more. You can just about see my arm there. I was looking at the watch about 800 metres in, and my thought was actually, this isn't absolutely horrendous. 800 metres to go still is going to burn a lot, but I can actually maintain this speed, I think, just about till the end. But I have come down at the moment to 3 minute 10 per kilometre, so that's going to be slower than a 5 minute mile. Second 500 metre split, a 1 minute 35, a 6 second drop, that's 3 minutes 10 per kilometre for the split, 5 minute 05 speed for the mile, giving us a 1 kilometre split of 3 minutes 04 at 4 minutes 56 per mile speed, which is exactly the speed of our previous PB, the dodgy wind assisted one anyway. We're well up on our legitimate 5 minutes 16, but we have been slowing. Can we manage in this final 600 metres to pick it up, hold on, or how much are we going to drop off? We've slowed to around 3 minutes 16 per kilometre. It wasn't at this point that it was like hurting like absolute crazy that I wanted to stop massively. It was just the more and more I was giving, the slower and slower I was getting, and there was just not really a lot left in from my legs. Could that be from the weight of these shoes? I'd say probably not. 100 kilometres of marathon training last week probably has something to do with it, but we're still on for a good time. The burn now was real though, gasping for breath, just over 200 metres to go. Can I have a little kick at the end? Third 500 metres, 1 minute 36, we've only dropped by a second, 100 metres to go now, final kick. Can we get close to a 5 minute flat? And it's a 5 minutes and 1 second for the mile. Just missing out on going sub 5 and 5 seconds off our slightly illegitimate PB, but way ahead, obliterating our actual PB from before. All out miles are hard work. Oh God. Here's the stats from the run, and you can see in that final 110 metres in 19 seconds, I did manage a bit of a kick, picking it up to 2 minutes 54 per kilometre. The Garmin overlay didn't really pick up on that much, but I did feel like I managed to get a little bit something extra at the end, albeit not that much. But it probably shows that on this day in history, there wasn't much more I could give, and I paced it pretty well. How do I think the shoes performed though? Based purely off the time I managed, you have to say they did a good job. 5 seconds off a heavily wind-assisted PB is really good going. How did they feel? They felt smooth, propulsive, and actually quite stable. And that was something I actually noticed yesterday on my slower run. When performing quick 180 turns at dead ends, they actually didn't really cause me any bother. And I'm usually quite Bambi-like when I'm making turns, especially in high-stack shoes. So yeah, my first impressions is I absolutely love these shoes. They performed well for me in my 1 mile time trial. It's just whether they're soft enough to really cushion the impact for a half marathon or a marathon. But fear not, because we should be able to answer this question this very Sunday at Hastings Half Marathon. I'll be taking the Hoka Cielo X1s to Hastings for a face-off with my brother D Mills. You don't want to miss it. See you later, everyone.